big news on the Dublin team, a very closely guarded secret. Up until around 20 minutes ago, the Dublin camp were saying officially there were no changes. What a day for Ken D'Arcy. Declan's younger brother, of course, he came on as a substitute with about 10 minutes to go last week here in Semple Stadium. Today he gets his chance in place of Ian Robertson. Dublin will switch their forward division around a little bit to compensate. We'll give you those changes in just a moment. But to look at the Dublin back division, well, no real surprise with what happened with these back six. They did play very well. Shane Ryan, who was a late change before the throw-in last Saturday, is retained in a full-back line, which limited the Kerry full-forward line to just 5 points from play. Paul Curran starts his 47th championship match. He's the oldest player on the Dublin team. And the two at midfield, Kieran Whelan, Dublin's top scorer in the championship, but he managed only a point last week. Now here's the new forward line. Ken D'Arcy lining out at centre half forward. We understand that Jason Sherlock will go out to take Collie Moran's place at left half forward. Collie Moran in turn will move in and start at full forward. Desi Farrell will swap to where Jason Sherlock was at left corner forward. We'll know more about that just as the throw-in takes place. Well, he's back again on Taoiseach Bertie Ahern TD. On his left, the president of Cummin Classdale, Sean McKay. Well, the noise here, really special. The parade getting underway. Here's the Kerry side, the All-Ireland champions going in with the same team which began the drawn game. Michael McCarthy has recovered from the dead leg which forced him to retire injured last Saturday. It's that usual solid half-back line. The pairing in the middle, Dara O'Shea and Donald Daly, did so well for long periods last Saturday. The forwards now, centre half forward, Noel Kennelly dislocated his finger in the first minute of the game last Saturday, but he's okay to play. And even though they only managed 5 points the last time out, that full forward line have scored 342 between them. That's over 2/3 of Kerry's scores in this year's championship. Tony Davis was the big talking point. Ken D'Arcy.
Robertson more than likely wouldn't be playing, and it depends on what happens now at midfield. Kieran Whelan, whether he'll play at midfield or whether he'll play at full forward, or in the he might go out midfield. But it's definitely a stronger forward line for Dublin. But they're still looking to Desi Farrell and to Jason Sherlock for the scores in there.
And what about the Kerry 15 tried and trusted formula?
Yeah, it's the same 15, but a different attitude today, I would think, than the last day. I think the last day they looked very vulnerable when Dublin ran at them. The Kerry backs are quite young and they minded their own corner. They didn't go out and attack the ball as it was coming in. So I think we'll have a different attitude from the backs today. But again, the same type of play. We know what they expect from Kerry. Long ball into their full forward line, and they have quite a devastating forward line. And as well as that, they have Morris in the side end ready to come in and kick 45s in the last minute of the game, something that every other team would love to have.
Yes, indeed. Well, just like last week, great colour. The Dublin supporters, Hill 16 on tour down here at Semple Stadium in Thurles today, and great support, very vocal support for the All-Ireland champions who haven't lost in over 2 years. Their last defeat, July of '99.
Just very briefly, Colin O'Rourke, what do you make of those changes on the Dublin team?
I can't see Ken D'Arcy playing centre forward because Ken D'Arcy is more or less an out-and-out midfielder. So Dublin have 4 midfielders there with Enda Sheehy. I would expect that they'll push Kieran Whelan up front because he hasn't been doing it really at midfield for Dublin anyway. And if he was playing centre forward, those driving runs could, you know, cause major problems for the Kerry defence, because when the Dublin forwards ran at them the last time, there was a lot of panic. Now, Michael McCarthy going off was a big loss to the Kerry backs. He's there to bring a bit of stability. Kerry need Darrow Canada to play well at full forward. The longer the game went on the last day, the more Shane Ryan got on top of him. And it's not good enough for Kerry for him just to kick free. So I would expect that there would be changes all round.
OK, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Árón Aveen at Semple Stadium.
Well, the noise level lifts again. We had a huge roar as the two teams came out. And we watch for switches. We expect there'll be one or two changes. I see straight away Owen Brosnan appears to have moved in from right half forward into full forward. Dara O'Canada is now out at centre half forward. Noel Kennelly has switched to the left side. So, well, Dublin can make their changes. Kerry are making theirs as well. Collie Moran is indeed at full forward for Dublin. Jason Sherlock, not as we were told, he's now at centre half forward. Ken Darcy playing at left half forward. So many changes on both sides. Remember last week Dublin made a barnstorming start but kicked 4 wides in a row. Pat McEnany of Monaghan gets this quarter-final replay underway. Enda Sheehy in quickly. Dara O'Shea looking to get it from him. It is slippy out there, no doubt about it. The pitch has taken a lot of rain. Thankfully dry now. Tomas O'Shea launches it forward towards Brosnan. And unlike last week, the first wide of the game goes to Kerry. Davy Byrne wasn't happy with that kick out in the dying seconds of last week's game, which led to Maurice Fitzgerald's sideline ball. The punch forward by O'Shea. Shane Ryan now operating at full back will miskick that completely. Noel Kennelly on the left boot. Is this the first point? Yes, it is. That's a great score from Noel Kennelly. Kerry off the mark after a minute. Well, this is a very nice point from Noel Kennelly. Didn't score last week and indeed was taken off, but that's a fantastic finish. Kerry off to a flyer. Much better kick out this time from Davy Byrne. Dara O'Shea, the players having to wear gloves. The ball very greasy. Kieran Whelan. They want to run at Kerry, and here goes Whelan heading into the corner. Tomas O'Shea fouls him. Whistle sounded straight away. Dublin were thinking about a quick one, but decided against. Tony?
Yes, that's exactly what Dublin want. They want Kieran Whelan coming at deep, and they want the Kerry backs to follow him, because this is a perfect site for Darcy to kick the ball over the bar.
Well, he scored 6 points last week. This one, well, a lot further out than his efforts last Saturday here in Thurles. Takes it short. Desi Farrell. Good play by Michael McCarthy, but Declan Darcy has it again. Mossy Lyons, the defender. Darcy looking for space. Kerry close him down. Plenty of blue shirts there. Darcy has a go himself. Drops it short. Dara O'Shea tidying up. Donald Daly sending Paul Curran the wrong way. Lots of space on this big pitch. Johnny Crowley couldn't control it. Ken Darcy. Johnny Crowley fouling Ken Darcy. Darcy will be pleased with, well, at least to get his hands on the ball, and the referee calling them back. And indeed, he's going to call Johnny Crowley back, I think, as well.
Yes, Larry, the conditions are going to have a big bearing in it today. The underfoot conditions are quite wet, and most of the guys out there are wearing gloves. So unlike the last day, we're going to see very little silky touches, and they're going to have to win the ball first time.
Well, it's a yellow card for Johnny Crowley. So Pat McEnany not waiting before stamping his authority on this game. Johnny Crowley getting a card. Here's Jason Sherlock for Dublin. Whelan, much better start. One of his best starts in the Dublin colours in recent times. Enda Sheehy. Now here's Collie Moran. How he operated full forward. Desi Farrell's inside. Players lining up on the 20-metre line. Moran still going, and this is brilliant from Collie Moran. Oh! Well, he had some bad misses last week. One in particular I'll never forget. I'm sure he won't either. He should have scored there.
Yes, he did everything right. Beat two players and did the right thing at the end of the day to try and punch it over the bar. But Declan O'Keefe came off his line and did enough to put him off. But the biggest battle in there will be between Michael McCarthy and Des inside in the full forward line. They'll be looking for Des as an outlet for all the balls in there, and Michael will just have to be in front of him and take his courage in his hands and break the ball away.
Declan O'Keefe with a great kick out. Ken Darcy. Now Darren Holman. Darragh O'Shea with him. Holman still going. Tom O'Sullivan across. And the free has been given to Kerry. Ball fouled on the ground. Declan Darcy with this free for Dublin. Well, there's their first point. Straightforward effort for a free taker of the caliber of Declan Darcy. So, all square. Just about 5 minutes played. Well, whatever wind is out there is favouring Kerry in this first half, unlike last week when Dublin had the breeze. Whelan winning a lot of breaks around the middle, fouled by Aidan McGarrald. Lots of movement for Darren Holman. Goes out towards Collymore and Moynihan with him. Tom O'Sullivan is there, and the Footballer of the Year tries to pick it up, but he's been fouled on the ground by Enda Sheehy. It's a free out. Seamus Moynihan takes it. Aidan McGarrald offering the movement. Referee's whistle sounds. Johnny McGee, I think the player penalised for pulling Darragh Canada.
Yeah, well spotted. What people don't realise when they're watching a football game is that most of the running is done before the ball is kicked, and all the running is done inside their man to try and create space, and that's what the ref spotted.
Well, Darragh Canada has been Kerry's top scorer in the championship so far. Scored 6 points last week, 5 of them frees. Here he goes again with the wind behind. It'll drop short. Referee's whistle sounds again. Free out to Dublin. Just looking around the ground, certainly not as full as it was last Saturday. And of course, people had all the problems getting here. The route a little bit easier today, but still a very, very big crowd here for this match. Darragh O'Shea with the punch forward. Paul Curran picks it up. Now Padder Andrews got forward well a couple of times last week. Dessie Farrell screaming forward. It goes to Jason Sherlock, involved in half of Dublin's scores last week. Here's Andrews again. He's usually reluctant to shoot. And here's again. Here's Dessie Farrell. Sherlock was there on the right boot, claimed by Declan O'Keefe. Didn't make great contact with it. Moynihan takes it free. Donal Daly. Mike Frank Russell out, and he missed that. So did Coleman Goggins. Here's Paddy Christie. Enda Sheehy. Russell doing the tracking back, but the wing forward has it again for Dublin. Here's Dessie Farrell out in front of Michael McCarthy. That's what they want to do. And here's Collie Moran. Moynihan behind him. The two slip on the greasy surface, and Moran first up with it. Trying to switch it across towards Jason Sherlock. Did well to even jump with Eamon Fitzmaurice. Kerry looking composed at the back. Kennelly, scorer of Kerry's first point of the game inside a minute. They're going long. Christie could be in trouble here. Davy Byrne had to be out quickly. Takes a heavy shoulder from Crowley, but that's good goalkeeping. Good sweeping up by Davy Byrne, getting Paddy Christie out of jail. Shane Ryan. Owen Brosnan with him. Sheehy. Lovely 1-2 with Dessie Farrell, and is still going. Tom O'Sullivan across to him. Here's Declan Darcy. Darcy charging forward. Mossy Lyons is with him. Needs some support, and it was slow to arrive. And that's gone wide. Some of the Dublin players thought it was a 45. Well, there is Tom Carr, the Dublin manager. Beside him, his brother Declan, former Tipperary captain. And you can see the earpiece in his right ear. He's in contact with Richie Crean, one of the Dublin selectors. John O'Leary is running the line for Dublin.
I think it's an advantage for Tom Carr to be up in the stand, actually, because you have a better view from up here. When you're down on the sideline, it's just a myriad of players in front of you, and it's very hard to pick out space. So I think it's a big advantage for him to be off the sideline, actually.
Well, Dublin have changed again. Now Kieran Whelan is at left half forward, and Ken Darcy is operating around the middle. Darcy went for that with Donald Daly. Paul Curran. Dublin half-backs pushing forward. Enda Sheehy. Jason. Now Paul Curran pressing forward. Noel Kennelly goes back with it. Curran held as he went through. Free to Dublin.
Again, a very handy free for the Kerry defence to give away. Their frees that they shouldn't have given away because he was in no danger. But it's very apparent when Dublin are about 45 yards from the goal. If Dessie Farrell is outside, they have no target man inside. There's nobody actually running, nobody actually telling them where they want the ball inside.
Declan Darcy kicking into the wind. He's got one already today. This to give Dublin the lead. Good distance out. Made good contact with it, but the fans, the Dublin fans behind that goal, don't like it. Another Dublin wide. Well, it will be interesting to see how Ken Darcy operates at the middle. Donald Daly has picked him up, but Dara O'Shea is now with Darren Holman. That's where that went. Tomas O'Shea. Darcy with a big hit, pushed to the ground. Another soft free for Kerry to be giving away. And Kieran Whelan. Well, what's happening now? The referee's going to throw the ball in. So Dublin lost the advantage. Didn't want to take the free from where the referee had given it from. Here's Dara O'Shea. Kieran Whelan with it. Free to Kerry. Scrappy enough stuff in the early stages, the first 12 minutes of this game. Here's Aidan McGarrett. Can he bring some order to the way Kerry are playing? Not really. Here's Darren Holman. He's going to be fouled as well. Too many frees. 8 frees to Dublin, 3 to Kerry so far. Jason Sherlock. Fitzmaurice, the Kerry centre-half back. 4 Dublin players around this. Coleman Goggins up from left corner back. Moved in quickly, but that's not a good ball. And Dublin again having problems like they did last week with their distribution. Tom O'Sullivan. Tomas O'Shea. Eamon Fitzmaurice. Now the long one forward, and nobody marking Michael Francis Russell. Paul Curran there. Here's Kennelly. In towards Johnny Crowley. Paddy Christie out of the game. Chance for Kerry and for Crowley. He's still going. Oh, super goal from Johnny Crowley. Paddy Christie's mistake. He is just lethal. What a start for Kerry.
Johnny Crowley is absolutely on fire again here today. Paddy Christie got caught the wrong side of his man. Johnny used his body to push him out of the way, and a terrific finish. Now that demonstrates the difference between the two teams. Dublin had loads of possession up their side. They missed the easy frees, they missed scores. One ball goes up, and Johnny finishes in the back of the net.
That is a superb score. He was man of the match here last Saturday. He's started this one as if he wants another piece of glassware for his mantelpiece. Free to Kerry. Darrow Canada will take it, and that will do their confidence no end of good. And Dublin, well, they'll be asking questions of themselves once more. Donald Daly with the line ball. Aidan McGarrett, that was off Patter Andrews. Frank Russell about to take this line ball for Kerry. Well, he had a go from this sort of distance last week on the left boot. Didn't quite work. That looks much better. Oh, that is superb. Anything Maurice Fitzgerald can do, Mike Frank Russell can do just as well. And Kerry have settled, and they're cruising already. Absolutely brilliant point. He scored 2 here last week. One of them was a place ball as well. That is absolute class from Mike Frank Russell. Well, Dublin struggling. They need some possession. Very like last week, although they haven't had as many chances as they did last Saturday. Kieran Whelan running through. 2 Kerry players with him. They don't concede the free, and Eamon Fitzmaurice first to react, and he wins his free. Foul by Jason Sherlock. And Dublin, well, the sign's not good for them, even at this early stage.
Yes, and the only thing that Dublin have an advantage at the moment is around the middle of the field. They have Whelan, Homan, Sheedy and Darcy in there, and they're all huge men, and Kerry are finding it very difficult to win the primary possession from kickouts, but when the ball breaks, the Kerry guys are up there first.
Owen Brosnan, too high for Darragh O'Canada. Mike Frank Russell again out in front of Coleman Goggins. That's been repeated over and over so far. Lovely touch from McDarrell. Darragh O'Canada. Pader Andrews taken out of the game. O'Canada wants a go. Oh, they are on fire. A great point from Darragh O'Canada. And Dublin are really struggling here. Kerry just getting stronger and stronger.
That was an incredible point by Darragh O'Canada. He's been threatening this for so many games. A good cutback on his weak leg, his left leg, and from about 35 yards out, straight over the bar. Dublin just don't have the forwards to do something like that. They'll be looking to Desi all the time. They just don't have the range of forwards that Kerry have.
Well, Paddy O'Shea looking pretty happy with himself. 4 of the 6 Kerry forwards have now scored in this match. Declan Darcy, the only point for Dublin. Tom O'Sullivan, clever ball to Mike Frank Russell. Lots of movement ahead of him. That cultured left foot sends it to Johnny Crowley. Out in front of Christie every time. Kennelly has time to pick his spot. It's like Groundhog Day, very similar to last week. And Kerry, well, they're tearing Dublin to pieces. Dublin having lots of problems at the back, but the Kerry movement at times just frightening. Well, this very like his first point again. Swung the left boot at it, but where was the Dublin marking? Nowhere. Shane Ryan gets it short from his goalkeeper, Davy Byrne. Byrne obviously not happy with the possession. Dublin are winning at midfield. Enda Sheehy. Jonathan McGee has hardly touched the ball. He's seen Darragh O'Canada go by him several times. Free to Dublin. McGee fouled. Darren Homan. There's the movement from Desi Farrell. Michael McCarthy is the Kerry defender. 5 Dublin players inside. Desi Farrell deciding to go himself. Gets through the gap. That's brilliant for Desi Farrell. And he's put it over. That's a good score. And that should settle them down just nicely. Desi Farrell, one of Dublin's most lethal forwards, showing the rest how to do it.
That was a terrific score again by Desi. And Michael McCarthy back him. In fact, Kerry missed him last week when he went off. But all the balls will have to go into Desi because he's the one guy that's showing for it and the one guy that you can nearly sure that he will score when he gets the ball in those positions.
Dublin getting the break. Darren Homan. Johnny McGee. Early one forward. Jason Sherlock with the fist on. Intercepted by Moynihan. Darragh O'Shea. Again, lots of space and plenty of motion in front of him. Mike Frank Russell really giving Coleman Goggins an awful time at the moment. Darragh O'Shea. Pader Andrews did well to get a hand to that. Aidan McGarrett beaten by Darren Homan. Dublin playing themselves into trouble. McGarrett has it back. That's terrible play from Dublin. McGarrett, has he got a left boot like his colleagues Mike Frank Russell and O'Canada, and O'Canada will get a crack from a free. Dublin all over the place at the back.
And it was a very poor play by Dublin. He had plenty of time to pick out a man or else clear it off his line. He took his time, and it was good harassing by Kerry. I'm sure they've talked about this all last week. If they go ahead, what are they going to do? Are they going to keep going? And if Dublin come back, what are they going to do? So we'll see, will it work from now on?
Well, a lot of credit has to go to Aidan McGarrald for hassling and harrying Darren Homan into making the mistake, and Darragh Canada straightforward from here. That's a lovely point. And this really is so similar to last week's game. Dublin with only 2 points so far. Kerry now up to 1-5. O'Canada with his second point of the match. Kieran Whelan now back at midfield. Ken Darcy now over on Tomas O'Shea over on the far side. Darcy went for that. Darragh O'Shea stuck a leg out. Darcy does well. McGee, Enda Sheehy. Jason Sherlock gets away from Eamon Fitzmaurice. Sherlock with 15 on his back is the centre half forward. Here's Collie Moran. Moran trying to turn Seamus Moynihan. Moran still going. If he could get a point here to do his confidence, no end of good, but he's put it wide. Well, his confidence took a real battering here last Saturday. Dublin's third wide. They're not happy again. Coleman with the punch forward. Tomas O'Shea. Kerry half-back line playing very well, launching many an attack, and a good situation for the likes of Johnny Crowley. Paddy Christie with him. Here's Noel Kennelly. Owen Brosnan. Again, no Dublin marking. Donald Daly past Shane Ryan. Homan's back at him. Aidan McGarrald running Patter Andrews all over the place. He's popping up on the right wing and now on the left wing, and they overplay it. And Kieran Whelan belts it forward. Desi Farrell chasing after it. It'll beat everybody out over the line. Kerry line ball. Kerry with a 6-point cushion. Twice they had 8-point leads. It could be going to 9 shortly. Crowley, oh yes! Again the mistake from the Dublin fullback, deceived by the bounce. And Crowley, well, you start to run out of ways to describe the level of his performance. Sheer class from the corner forward.
Sheer class, but dreadful defending yet again. A long ball in that fullbacks should love. Hopped over his head, and Johnny just doesn't miss for there in this form. Picked his spot, kept it low, and made sure of it. Deadly finish, but dreadful defending.
Well, the power he hit that. He almost burst the net, Johnny Crowley. And Dublin are in real trouble here. They need something to happen pretty quickly. The wind not as strong as it was perhaps 2 hours ago. It is still favouring Kerry, but not really by much. Coleman Goggins. Johnny McGee. Darragh Canada with him. McGee does well, but needs to release it. Look at all the Kerry shirts around it. They are so fired up for this. Seamus Moynihan, well, he's always fired up, and he gets a chance to go forward. Again, it's for Johnny Crowley. Paddy Christie this time reads the situation. Now, what way has that gone? That should be a Kerry ball, and is. It's just not happening for Dublin. O'Canada, same situation. He put one over earlier on, but he can't do it this time. Kerry's third wide.
Dublin need to do something about this at this stage, because Paddy Christie's being isolated on his own inside there, and I just feel sorry for him, because there's no Dublin player hanging back trying to cover the space in front of him. In fact, Dublin has swapped now. Coleman Goggins has gone in on Johnny Crowley, but no matter who's in there, if there's good direct ball, it's very, very hard to defend.
Shorter one this time from Davy Byrne. Patter Andrews has it. Darren Homan. Free to Dublin. Homan, the player, fouled. Now here's Desi Farrell. Just 4 Dublin players inside the Kerry half at the moment. Michael McCarthy there for Kerry. And Desi Farrell almost pulled the jersey off it. Donald Daly. Darragh O'Shea. Long one forward again, pumped into that space. Crowley's after it. Goggins lets it bounce, and Davy Byrne has it. That's good goalkeeping, and brave too by Davy Byrne. It needed to be, though.
That was a terrific save, and he had to do it, because if he didn't do it, Johnny Crowley was waiting for the break here yet again. In fact, it was a push on Johnny, but a great save. But again, it's simple football, direct ball into the full forward line, and it scares the living daylights out of fullbacks. I know what it's like to be facing 50 yards in front of you, and quick balls inside are very hard to defend. Even if the forward gets 1 out of 3, they'll get their scores.
Dublin are now warming up Senan Connell, who was originally meant to start here last Saturday. So Tommy Carr making changes from his position up in the stand. Really, he can't be too happy. There's a very happy bench at the moment, but they've been here before. Twice last week they had 8-point cushions, and Dublin, well, got it back to within 4 the first time, and then actually, as you'll remember, dramatically took the lead with the Darren Homan goal. But if they're going to do something in this game, they need to do it pretty quickly. Less than 10 minutes to go to half-time. Aidan McGarrett, Darragh O'Shea, Tomas O'Shea. Again, it's the long one in towards the full forward, and Davy Byrne takes it. Paddy Christie. Enda Sheehy. Dublin were 5 points down at half-time last week, but they had wasted and missed perhaps 2 goals and 3 points, and they just have not made those sort of chances today. Collie Moran taking Seamus Moynihan with it. Moynihan adjudged to have fouled the Dublin forward. Moran lobs it in. High ball for Jason Sherlock. Not really much good. And O'Keefe is out ahead of Desi Farrell. Great goalkeeping. Moynihan. Darragh O'Shea. Now Eamon Fitzmaurice. Pumped into that 2-man inside forward line for Kerry. Mike Frank Russell, with lots of blue shirts around him, still manages to get possession. Johnny Crowley did well to even get a hand on that. Coleman Goggins lets it go wide. Pat McEnany going in to have a word with Johnny Crowley and Coleman Goggins. Johnny Crowley, remember, booked earlier on, and this time it's just a stern talking to for both players by the Monaghan referee. Padder Andrews. Tomas O'Shea very brave. The Kerry half-back line operating so well. Tomas O'Shea having a really good game, as is this man, Aidan McGarrett. Johnny Crowley. Just not able to get close enough to him, Goggins. Darragh O'Shea. Ken Darcy. O'Shea decides to go himself. Good block down by Darren Homan. Ken Darcy. Goggins. Shane Ryan. Well, he's a full-back, but now operating, it seems, as a half-forward. Collie Moran and Seamus Moynihan, and Moynihan's experience and guile got him back that ball, just waited his time and then pounced. Owen Brosnan. Enda Sheehy. Dublin not having much joy with balls bouncing in front of them. Ken Darcy. Bit of a hospital pass towards Johnny McGee. Owen Brosnan. They should punish them from here. Brosnan going. Made good contact with it, but Ryan did just enough to put him off. Kerry still in a very commanding position. But 5 wides as well.
Yeah, and Dublin aren't helping themselves either. Trying to walk the ball out of the back line. When the one forward, they have Desi Farrell inside the full forward line. He's making the runs off his man, telling him, I want it in here. And what do they do? Solo the ball and hold it up and destroy the whole focal point of attack. The last day when they kicked it in, they got freeze. They have to get it in there quick.
Darren Holman, easy possession for Aidan McGarrett. A blue line in front of him. That's Coleman Goggins for once out in front of Johnny Crowley. Shane Ryan. Again, Dublin with just 4 forwards inside the Kerry half. Paul Curran needs to release it quickly. And Whelan's in trouble here. Darrow Canada tracking back. Kerry working so hard when they don't have the ball. Noel Kennelly. Paddy Christie needs to get to the bounce, and did. Enda Sheehy. Really very little shape to the way Dublin are playing. Enda Sheehy, well, really had very few options in front of him. That's why he delayed. Johnny McGee has Dessie Farrell moving. Declan Darcy is out as well, and McGee goes to the other side towards Jason Sherlock. Eamon Fitzmaurice is there. Fitzmaurice just stood his ground, tidied up by Declan O'Keefe. Tomas O'Shea. Johnny Crowley. Coleman Goggins got a touch to it.
Coleman Goggins has been Dublin's best defender over the last 2 days. Again, since he's gone on Johnny, he's getting a hand to the balls and breaking them away. He's doing very, very well.
Here's Dessie Farrell. Collie Moran now in a much deeper position. And he's given space and time to run. Remember what he did last week when Kerry allowed him to run. Well, his run halted unceremoniously by Tom O'Sullivan. And is there a card on the way for the Kerry wing-back? Well, Pat McEnany just simply noting the number of Tom O'Sullivan, so no card. And Declan Darcy will have a chance to send over Dublin's 3rd point. He kicked the first one, and they badly need this, and several more. And that brings a loud cheer from the Dublin supporters behind that goal. Only 3 points after 31 minutes of this All-Ireland quarter-final replay. Really just not good enough. Well, here's the foul on Collie Moran. Tom O'Sullivan. Darren Holman and Darragh O'Shea both miss it. Aidan McGarrald doesn't miss many of those. McGee back after him. McGarrald trying to curl it in, but he sent it wide. Kerry, well, their wide tally now mounting up to 6. Dublin trying to work it out of defence. Enda Sheehy. Well, he's looking for options in front. Gets one for Dessie Farrell. Darcy and Sherlock in front of him. Sherlock moves out. Again, Eamon Fitzmaurice not too far away. Sherlock trying to make something happen for Dublin, and they need it pretty quickly. Sherlock still going. Fitzmaurice with him all the way, and it's a definite free. Should be Dublin's 4th point.
Yes, and Kerry from a position of dominance again, giving away silly frees. No need, just stay inside them and not foul them. But again, they did this the last day, gave away Declan Darcy 5 kick-over frees from about 21-yard line. And Kerry tend to go asleep when they go up a good field. I suppose it's only natural, and Declan Darcy will kick them over all day.
Straightforward opportunity for Declan Darcy. Up to 4 points now. Dublin could do with another few scores before the fast approaching half-time break. We'll have 1 minute of time to be added on by Pat McEnany, the referee. Darragh O'Shea belts it forward. Again, Paddy Christie beaten. Mike Frank Russell. That looks really good, and he sent it over. And what a response. Dublin trying to claw their way back into it. That's just a minute or so after Declan Darcy's free. This could be a really good day for Kerry. Goggins. Now Paul Curran. He's been in and out of the game for Dublin. He's been caught up like the rest of his defenders with defensive duties. Here's Kieran Whelan. Great start, but faded out of it. Donald Daly. Oh, and Whelan got himself into trouble. Signs really are not good for Dublin. Getting better for Kerry all the time. Seamus Moynihan coming forward. Owen Brosnan. Russell out, he wanted it, and well, If Kieran Whelan could do it, Kerry could give it away as well. Johnny McGee takes the free quickly. Collie Moran. Darragh O'Shea is closest to him. Here's Kieran Whelan. Need a point here. Whelan making the angle for himself. That's a good score, and that's what Kieran Whelan can do, and indeed that's what Dublin can do. Direct football when they got into the danger zone, and that's a nice point from Kieran Whelan.
Yes, a terrific point. And in the second half, with the win, maybe Dublin should consider playing him inside the full forward line or somewhere where he'd be the focal point of their attack, because they need somebody other than Des Farrell to be inside.
Declan O'Keefe is a clever kick out. Well, it's a bit short indeed. Darren Holman, he was getting in ahead of Darragh O'Shea. Holman's still going. Kerry give away the free. Mossy Lyons and Darragh O'Shea. Declan Darcy wants to take it quickly, but the referee wants to have a word. I think he might have been waiting for some treatment. Aileen O'Carroll, the Kerry physio, is on to treat Darragh O'Shea.
What we've learned from last week is that Dublin won't give up. They have great heart and they'll fight to the very end. They mightn't have the class forwards as Kerry, but they certainly won't give up.
Well, this could be a very important moment for them as we head towards half-time. The minute of injury time almost up. Short in towards Jason Sherlock. Eamon Fitzmaurice, big physical presence causing Sherlock problems. Seamus Moynihan, that's a free out. The foul by Colin Moran. Colin Moran at least will have his name, or at the very least will have his name noted, and it's a yellow card for the Ballyboden player for that challenge on Seamus Moynihan. Confirmation of the booking for Colin Moran. Now, this could well be the last kick of the first half for Kerry's Declan O'Keefe, and indeed it is. A very good first half for the All-Ireland champions. Dublin never really off the mark. Kerry just as dominant as they were last week, but Dublin critically have not been creating the chances they did in the first 35 minutes of the drawn game. The Kerry supporters absolutely thrilled. Johnny Crowley, what a performance in the first half. Two fantastic goals, punishing the Dublin mistakes. Dublin fans know their team have a lot to do in the second half. They managed to do it last week. Can they do it this week? Confirmation of the situation at half-time. Very comfortable for Kerry. Kerry 2-6, Dublin 5 points. Now let's go to the sideline and join Jim Carney, who's talking to Tony O'Keefe.
Tony O'Keefe, Kerry secretary, 7 points of a lead, but can I say to you there that I was watching the faces and the body language of your selectors and looked very worried 10, 12 minutes coming up to half-time there.
Well, we went a period of good dominance without any score stream. You know, it's certainly very worrying, particularly when you're after playing with what is beginning to be a very fresh breeze. Certainly that period of time we had a chance of putting Dublin away. We won a lot of possession, particularly here on the middle of the field and the half-forward line, but we did not convert it into scores.
Walking up and down the line, how is the wind affecting it, do you think?
It seems to be quite fresh, and it seems to be freshening as well, you know, but if we can get the ball in quickly into our forwards and get them into space like we did in the first 20 minutes, we'll get the scores, but we haven't been doing that in the last 15 minutes before half-time.
Presumably Paulie will put it to his team that there's a big kick left in Dublin.
Oh, there's of course. I mean, we saw here the last day, and you will always in Kerry Dublin match have a kick from Dublin, you know, and I'll be very surprised if it doesn't materialise.
Yeah, some tremendous tackling there by Eamon Fitzmaurice, particularly in the last 5 minutes. Very competitive.
It's very competitive. I mean, the game plans of each team are obviously each other at this stage, and I think everybody knows what's happening, and I think it is extremely interesting.
But a fella like Fitzmaurice, you know, we talk about the star players, and yet around the country we don't be talking about the Fitzmaurices really. Yet he played wonderful football there in the last time.
Eamon Fitzmaurice is a very strong, very committed player, and it's very important to us holding down the middle. frustrated. And with the Dublin forwards, particularly Kieran Whelan coming through from midfield, it is very important for us to have a strong man there.
So much to look forward to. Thanks for time.
Bye.
Well, thank you, Jim. Talking to Tony O'Keefe. Kerry very much in command, as they were last Saturday after the first 35 minutes of football in this All-Ireland quarter-final replay. Dublin, well, they're in a better situation than they were last week. They managed to kick only 3 points in the entire first half. They have come back strongly in the second half of their last 3 championship matches. They need to do it again here in Thurles. The second half coming up. We'll have analysis after this break.
Yes, one of the most famous, or I suppose most infamous goals ever scored at Croke Park, one that Paddy Cullen won't ever forget. Mind you, he's made a fair old telling at dinner parties and stuff out of it as well. Now look at these statistics from the first half of Dublin versus Kerry, and they won't make very happy viewing from a Dublin point of view, that's for sure. From the point of view of the scoreboard, at any rate, Kerry leading by 2 goals and 6 points to Dublin's 5 points. Dublin had 10 frees in the first half, Kerry 8. 3 wides to Dublin, 6 to Kerry, and there was a yellow card issued on each side. Collie Moran was booked for Dublin and Johnny Crowley booked for Kerry in the first half. Now Pat Spillane, Colin O'Rourke is with me here. Pat, OK, Kerry are winning and comfortably enough in terms of their possession and their play, but there's something missing in this game.
Yes, Michael, this time last week we were on the edge of the seats because the game was played at an intensity. There was a great passion to it. And Dublin were dominating it, and probably from a Kerry point of view it was what was, and at half-time Dublin had made a lot of misses, so we had a great crack at half-time. Yeah. This week has been dead. Kerry have been, it's the exact opposite to last week, where Dublin dominated the possession stakes in the first half. Last Saturday, it's Kerry this time. And it's a bit like, it's the same question marks again. You know, Dublin attack, they don't seem to have any plan at all. Now Kerry are the better footballers, and you can see it, and natural attackers, fellas who are comfortable with right and left, fellas who can score. Dublin haven't natural attackers, they're great athletes, and you can never write them off. But I mean, it's again the question mark over Kerry. The same two great football they played for a while, but remember, that was in 9 minutes. In 9 minutes in that first half, Kerry scored 2 goals and 4 points. That means in 27 minutes they scored 2 points, and they got 1 point in the last 15 minutes. And it's the same two feelings. Their inability to kill off a team. They dominated that first half. They should be halfway down the road. They should be passing Mallow now, the Kerry supporters, if the Kerry forwards had done their business. And number 2, they're allowing Dublin keep in the game by conceding some very needless frees. But like I said, a comfortable and a good Kerry performance, but a lot of work still to be done. But a dead enough game. Yeah,
well, Paddy Russell punished Johnny Crowley in the first half with the yellow card, Colin O'Rourke, but in actual fact, it's been Johnny Crowley has been doing all the punishing to Dublin.
Yeah, well, I think it's Pat McEnany that
Pat McEnany, I should say. Yes.
But we better not put Paddy Russell down in the wrong. But the problem started, people wonder how come Mike Frank Russell has so much room. Well, Coleman Goggins attacked on one wing and lost possession, and Mike Frank went to the other wing, transferred through to John Crowley, holds off Dublin backs there, and you know, it's mistakes all round by the Dublin backs, but Johnny Crowley is not the sort of fellow that turns down an opportunity like that. Takes a lot of steps. I suppose he was being fouled when he got the ball, but keeps the ball down low as well, and you know, Davy Byrne has no chance with it. And then the second goal, again, Kerry aren't afraid to lash the ball in. Paddy Christie, dreadful mistake. The wrong man has it from a Dublin point of view, but the Dublin backs are at sea there. But for a 10-minute period, Kerry had the opportunity to totally kill the game and didn't take it, and they've left Dublin off the hook. But if you leave Crowley inside, he's going to score for sport. But the Dublin backs too, I can't understand. They obviously have a commandment that thou shalt not kick the ball. And their handling of the ball was poor. And I think oftentimes the glaring difference between two teams in skill is shown on a wet day by the ability to handle the ball. Yeah. The Dublin backs are snatching us out of their hands. The first point Kerry got was Shane Ryan mishandled an easy pick-up. Noel Kennelly got him put over the bar. I think that's the difference. Slicker all round on the Kerry side, but they still haven't been ruthless enough to just put the game out of reach.
No, they haven't, but they are leading at half-time, and that's what matters for the moment for them. What can Dublin do about it? We'll find out in the second half. That's coming up after this break.
Anton O'Toole is under it. Kevin Kelly recovering fast. Anton gets it into his possession. And across, Barney Rock is there. Yes, it must be the goal.
Barney Rock at Porky Keeve putting Dublin into the 1983 All-Ireland final. Another famous or infamous All-Ireland final against Galway, of course, that turned out to be. We've seen precious little class from Dublin in the first half. Pat Spillane. Kieran Whelan scored a great point, but there haven't been too many of these.
Well, look, the statistics tell its own story. One Dublin forward has scored for play. Now, they've moved Kieran Whelan to left half forward, and in fairness, O'Dara O'Shea unlucky, but a good point. I'm just wondering about Kieran Whelan at wing forward. He's very good coming onto the ball. At wing forward, a lot of the ball you get is with your back to the goal. But I mean, it's a tremendous point. Look, Dublin, it's the same old story. 1 point, the first point from play today came after 17.5 minutes. They put 2 balls into Declan O'Keefe's hands. They kicked 3 wides. Like I said, they don't seem to have a plan. Kerry forwards have the more natural. But actually, when you look at the 1978 final, there earlier on in the clip, it bears a great similarity to today. Because in that 78 final, Dublin were on top for the first 15 minutes, and suddenly the Dublin defenders started moving forward in droves with the ball. Lost possession, goal at the other end. And the same thing today, Coleman, Goggins, the boys moving up. I wouldn't blame them for moving up because the fellas up above can't really score anyway, you know, so you couldn't blame. But I mean, they move up, they leave space in the back. Kerry are playing a little bit, playing the ball more direct today, and they're punishing them.
It was an interesting statistic there from the first half too, which again I think shows the different levels of skill. 3 of the Kerry forwards scored with their weaker foot. Now the Dublin forwards can't score with their stronger foot. So, you know, that's the epitome of class and skill, that the Kerry forward, no matter which side he's pushed onto, whether it's right or left, can kick a point that way. The other thing that I thought there was very poor from Declan Darcy's point of view. Dublin had a free early on. He should have gone for it. Played it short and it was messed up. They had a chance in the end of going for a free and he didn't go for it. You know, you have to go for those sort of things. It would have been the score that would settle Dublin in the beginning. Instead of that, the ball was clear down the other side of the field.
All right, gentlemen, I gather the teams are out in the field back at Semple Stadium in Thurles. They're ready to go for the second half. It is indeed Pat McEneedy with the ball, ready to restart. Let's go back again to Darren Maloney.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome back. Second half underway. Dublin have made a change at half-time. Senan Connell is on, and we understand Ken Darcy is the player who has gone off. Dublin, whatever wind there is out there, and it's not very strong, will favour them in the second half, and they need to make a big start to this second half. Senan Connell came on last week as well and did quite well running at the Kerry defenders. Michael McCarthy with the line ball forward, well taken by Paul Curran. They have to get stuck into this straight away. Enda Sheehy. Tom O'Sullivan, the Kerry wing-back. Sheehy's still going. Needs some support and some options. Jason Sherlock, it's over his head in towards Declan Darcy. Running off him is Collie Moran. Well, they've been forced out. Moran, that looks pretty good. That's a good point for Collie Moran. He didn't score last week. His tally in the championship now up to 1-5, and that will do his confidence no end of good. Six points between the teams, and Collie Moran worked hard for this. Eamon Fitzmaurice and Michael McCarthy unable to get close enough, just tailed in nicely at the end. Kieran Whelan now back at midfield. Donald Daly there. Dara O'Shea taken off him by Senan Connell. Noel Kennelly. Now Johnny Crowley out in front of Goggins once more. Aidan McCarroll has made a great run through the middle. Crowley hasn't spotted him. Noel Kennelly there in support. Here's the left boot again. That one, well, it was heading wide. It's going to stay in play. Great take from Paddy Christie. Well, the Dublin backroom team will have had some stern talking to do at half-time to try and restore the confidence of their team. Paddy Christie, that's a big start for the second half to him, and he's still going. Collie Moran. Eamon Fitzmaurice in front. Moran tries to go off but a run. Aidan McCarroll taken out of the game. Lots of space and time for Moran. Declan Darcy moving in front. Desi Farrell has made a great run. This is brilliant from Collie Moran. Moran's still going, taken out of the game by Tomas O'Shea. That will surely be a yellow card. Perhaps more, and it's all boiling over. The players just need to cool it a little bit. The referee will take action. Senan Connell acting as the peacemaker. Linesman in as well. what will Pat McEnany do? Tomas O'Shea surely in big trouble. Dessie Farrell urged to go away. And it's a red card for Tomas O'Shea. Well, your first reaction was that it would be a yellow, but it's a red for the Kerry wing-back from Anguelto. Kerry down to 14. And will that be the moment that Dublin need to really get stuck into this match?
Yes, a very dangerous tackle. He could have broken his leg, actually. It was quite correct to give him a red card. Now, this is exactly what Dublin wanted at the start of the second half. I can see Vinnie Murphy warming up below me. They're back in the game now, 14 against 15, to really test Kerry now at this stage.
Well, it was quite a challenge from Tomas O'Shea. Sent off, and now Declan Darcy can close the gap just a little bit. And as you can see, over all the way from Declan Darcy, his third free of the match. Well, how will Kerry reorganise? They have switched things around a little bit. The same three players are still in the full back line. We'll follow that in just a moment. Owen Brosnan to Paul Curran. Is this Dublin's spell of pressure? Senan Connell. Enda Sheehy. Noel Kennelly in front. Sheehy goes on the outside once more. And he's still going. Kennelly taken out of the game. Here's Dessie Farrell. Senan Connell floats it in. Sherlock is there. Oh, brilliant take. I think it's Seamus Moynihan. That is fabulous skill from the Kerry fullback. Not a great clearance though. Darren Holman. Dublin getting more fired up as the seconds tick away. Sherlock drops it short. Kerry just need to settle down a bit. Dublin have up the tempo. Now they don't want to kick it out of defence either. Seamus Moynihan. Senan Connell almost in. Moynihan gets a chance to make amends. Now Dara O'Shea. Only two Kerry players inside the Dublin half. Eamon Fitzmaurice now. Goes long in towards Johnny Crowley. Gets his hands on the ball. Crowley going. Russell just inside. Crowley, will he go for the goal or settle for the point? That's a good score. And that will settle Kerry down. Sending off a real blow. 2 goals and a point now for Johnny Crowley. Crucial score.
That's a super score by Johnny Crowley again. Simple play, quick ball into him and straight over the bar. But Kerry, if they learned anything from last week now, will have to kill the game, hold Dublin for a small win and stop this tide.
I think they heard you, Tony. Darragh O'Shea to Darragh Canada. He's been quiet enough. Well, he sent that one wide. Never looked as if it was going over Darragh Canada. Vinnie Murphy about to come in to the Dublin team. There's Vinnie. Big part to play in the Dublin revival last week. Scored that lovely goal and needs something similar from him today. Kieran Whelan struggling for possession with Donald Daly. Referee spots a push. Free in, and Darragh Canada will take his time over this.
Yes, I think they're right to bring in Vinnie at this stage. There's no point in bringing Vinnie Murphy on with 5 minutes to go and the game gone. Now they have a chance to come into the game with an extra man. Now is the time they want to have that lift.
Darragh Canada has scored 2 points so far today. That looks really good. It is. Excellent point from the Ungueltook player. And Kerry, well, they're down to 14 men, but they've scored 2 points in a row, 2 quick points. Enda Sheehy looks as if he's about to come off the Dublin team. And he's not popular with the Kerry supporters, but boy, is he popular with the Dublin fans. Vinnie Murphy's on. And Sheehy disappointed with his contribution. Murphy's gone straight into full forward. Well, they all missed it. Senan Connell didn't. Here's Darren Homan. Space for him. Noel Kennelly looks as if he's now back in the Kerry half-back line. They've reorganised following the departure of Tomás O'Shea. Here's Johnny McGee. Dublin trying to turn the screw. Desi Farrell. Well, that's for Jason Sherlock. Great ball from Sherlock. Needs a point here. And he's got it. That's almost his trademark coming in. Nice turn. And over his left shoulder. That's a good point for Jason Sherlock, his first of the game.
A terrific score again by Jason, who played very well the last day, except he didn't score. They're creating the space inside, and if they let it in quickly enough, Vinnie Murphy will win those breaks. And it's just up to Jason and Desi to come off and win those breaks and take the scores.
Paul Curran is operating as the extra man for Dublin. Will that be the correct choice for Tom Carr and company? We'll see over time. Kerry have a free. Darragh O'Shea anxious to take it. That's towards Darragh O'Canada. Shane Ryan unable to win it back for Dublin. O'Canada takes it. That's good play. Dublin trying to flood defenders back. Kerry get a free. Kerry again look to slow it down. Darragh O'Shea pumps it in towards Crowley. Great hands as always from Johnny Crowley. Two defenders with him. McGarrett is free. Noel Kennelly unmarked on the 20-metre line. McGarrett. Well, he's got his free. He's been fouled. Free from the 13-metre line. Dublin's turn to concede a soft enough free. Mike Frank Russell thought about taking it, but Darragh O'Canada wants a piece of the action. Well, as Dublin edge closer, Kerry just pull away again. Darragh O'Canada, point number 4. Another short kick out. Shane Ryan. Johnny McGee. Blocked down from Owen Brosnan. Here's Paul Curran. Remember, the free man for Dublin. Darren Homan rides the challenge of O'Canada. Homan has a go himself. I think he knew himself that was on its way wide from the moment it left his boot. It's only their 4th wide, though, their first of the second half.
Yes, it was the wrong time to be going from glory out at that right-hand side, especially when Vinnie Murphy and Declan Darcy were off their men inside. The ball was a quick ball into the full forward line. Either win it, try and get a free. Alicia will get at times like that as a quick free or a free quick in front of the goal.
Held up in the wind. Kieran Whelan takes it for Dublin. 3 players inside. Sherlock is there. Here's Jason Sherlock. Well, they were queuing up for it. Moynihan. It came off his heel, I think. Mossy Lyons trying to tidy up for Kerry. Moynihan. How many steps is he taking? And he's lost the ball. Desi Farrell tries to cut it back towards Sherlock, but it's too hard. Farrell not able to hit it on his preferred left foot. Johnny McGee. Here's Jason Sherlock. Dublin players queuing up to take possession. Here's Holman. Pointer goal. He goes for goal. He's got it. The Dublin comeback begins. Darren Holman got a great goal last week. Declan O'Keefe will be disappointed with this one. But Tom Carr's side are back in the game. Well, what a moment for Darren Holman and Dublin. Now just 4 points between the sides. Kerry haven't been able to put Dublin away. Just watch Holman, nobody marking him. May have taken a slight deflection off Seamus Moynihan. That may what have deceived Declan O'Keefe. And that's a good goal. Maurice Fitzgerald now warming up for Kerry. Here they come again. Tom O'Sullivan. Shane Ryan is after him. O'Sullivan still going. Davy Byrne with a good stop. Johnny McGee. Now Panner Andrews. Andrews coming out from a crowd of green and gold shirts. Now here's Paul Curran. Maurice Fitzgerald about to come into the Kerry side. Here's Senan Connell. That goal has given Dublin quite a lift. Here's Vinny running at Moynihan. Moynihan got a touch. That's the first 45 of the game.
Yes, we're seeing a different Kerry team again today, and like we did the last day, when they're under pressure and people run at them, they go back into their shell, they mind their own man, they don't take the man that's in immediate danger. And at this stage now, Maurice Fitzgerald coming on, they'll need a big game from him, trying to lift them and get those young fellas going again.
Well, those who were here, those who saw it on television, will talk about that famous sideline for many, many years to come. Owen Brosnan is the player who's gone off, and Maurice Fitzgerald is in. Remember, he got some welcome onto the pitch towards the end of last week's game. A lot quieter today. They take it short. Declan Darcy to Desi Farrell. Here's Whelan. They found a gap again. Oh, that's another 45. Seamus Moynihan furious about something. I'm sure furious about the Kerry defending. A huge gap opened up.
Again, they look very vulnerable. That was something that they worked out in the training ground for Kieran Whelan to come onto the ball at full speed. But again, Kerry just backed off, and it was up to Seamus Moynihan to come out and try and block him. I suppose he was right to maybe have a go for a goal.
Here's Paul Curran looking for a point and getting one. Can they do it again, Dublin? At the moment, it looks likely. Paul Curran, only his 3rd point of the championship in his 47th championship match. Just a goal between the sides. William Kirby getting ready to come into the Kerry team. Excellent point for Paul Curran. Remember him missing a few against Meath in the Leinster final, no doubt about that one. Well, the kick out has been taken, but Kerry want to make the change. Donald Daly going off. William Kirby is on. Kirby replaced Daly in the drawn game. Wayne McCarthy, you can see, having a word with the Dublin selectors. He's getting ready to come in. Well, it's been an amazing second half so far. Dublin right back in the game. 7 points back at half-time they were. Here come Kerry. Darrow Canada pumps it in. Davy Byrne off his line and hangs up for Johnny Crowley. Brilliant fielding again from Crowley. Goggins is with him. He goes to ground, needs some support. Maurice Fitzgerald. Davy Byrne not in goal. This is a real panic moment for Dublin. Mike Frank Russell wanted the point but doesn't get it. And that Kerry wide tally, concerning from Paddy O'Shea's point of view. They're 8th wide, they're 2nd of the second half. And here comes Wayne McCarthy. And just as in last week's game, it's Declan Darcy who'll make way for the young Erin's Isle player. Curran. Shane Ryan inside. Switching the angle of the attack to Jason Sherlock. Eamon Fitzmaurice not close enough. Wayne McCarthy looking to get in straight away. Here's Collie Moran. Lovely hands from Moran. Wayne McCarthy. 4 players inside McCarthy. Running at Mossy lines, and McCarthy is still going. Has to release it. Couldn't find a teammate. Seamus Moynihan. Great running from Seamus Moynihan. Remember the Kerry fullback. Some of their supporters feel he's wasted at fullback. He's certainly getting forward when possible. Here's Darrow Canada. Now to picture Moynihan heading back to the edge of his own square. Canada has lots of options in front of him. One of them, Johnny Crowley. Maurice Fitch totally free. This should be a point. And it is. His first of the day. And Dublin cut open by some very clever football from Kerry.
Yes, some beautiful football by Kerry. But one thing about Dublin, they are so honest in their endeavours. Everything they do, they work so hard. And Darren Holman epitomises that, and especially with his goal. Might not have a lot of class, but real honest football. Whereas Kerry, pure class out to the corner, and Maurice Fitz on his left leg over the bar. That's pure football.
Senan Connell and Tom O'Sullivan battling for that. Here's Darren Holman. Free to Dublin. Here's Vinnie Murphy. That wind, which is favouring Dublin, seems to be getting stronger all the time, and Vinnie has taken it out over the line. Line ball to Kerry. Very familiar face and presence to Kerry football supporters, having spent 3 years with Kearns O'Reilly's. Didn't play for Kerry though. That's Aidan McGarrett. Again over the head of Paddy Christie. It bounces. Goggins gets to the pitch of it, but here's Johnny Crowley. Ominous for Dublin once more. Frank Russell inside. Crowley from a difficult angle. Oh, that's a fantastic point from Johnny Crowley. Absolutely superb. One of the most difficult angles you're ever likely to see, particularly for a right-footed kicker. Superb. 2 goals and 2 points for Johnny Crowley. Well, in the twinkling of an eye, Kerry have got back to a 5-point lead, and Dublin have to start again. Colin Moran, Jason Sherlock and Fitzmaurice, they both miss it. Sherlock out quickly. Here comes Seamus Moynihan. Woof. Shane Ryan. Kieran Whelan. Slow delivery again from Whelan, but it's a good ball to Jason Sherlock. Paul Curran screaming for it over on this far side. Sherlock goes for it himself. Wide. Wide number 5. Sherlock has scored 1 point in the game so far. Difficult from that sort of range.
Yes, and Seamus Moynihan is asserting himself again in the full back line inside. He's coming short and driving them on.
Holman and O'Shea both miss it. Here's Aidan McGarrett. Tom O'Sullivan, good running from the Kerry wing back, taking Senan Connell with him. Seemed to pick up the ball, Tom O'Sullivan. The referee didn't spot it though. Aidan McGarrett. Frank Russell. They're out in front every time, Russell and Johnny Crowley. Christie not close enough, and well, that held up very awkwardly for Davy Byrne. Did well to take it. Johnny McGee. Powerful running from the centre half back, Kieran Whelan. Took a heavy hit from William Kirby, and Whelan's still going. They need him to run at the Kerry defenders, and he's fouled the ball. Kerry gladly accept that free. And again, it just, well, the temperature rises once more. Players just need to settle down.
Yes, that was very good defending by Kerry. Held him up. Obviously, every time he's going to get the ball, somebody's going to try and stop him from going forward. But they gathered around him, didn't foul him, and now they have a free, and they're going to slow it down. This is something I think they've learned from last week. When they're under pressure, they slow it down a small bit.
Well, Pat McEnany having a word with his linesman. Play is restarted, but the referee will call it back. Well, the rain starting to spit down again. Well, Dublin, a little bit of sleep. William Kirby in towards Johnny Crowley. McGee and Goggins got in each other's way. Paddy Christie. Cool defending for Christie, but well, it's an ambitious ball out. Tom O'Sullivan always favoured to get a hand to that. Darragh O'Shea to Darragh O'Canada. Russell again as the target. Christie fooled by the flight of the ball. Darren Holman. Paul Curran. Kerry getting Declan Quill ready to come in. Here's Senan Connell again. They try and inject some pace into it. Dessie Farrell free over on the far side. Connell goes himself, takes his point. Solid score from Senan Connell. Back to within 4 points. Darragh O'Canada, you can see, making his way from the pitch at Semple Stadium. Declan Quill, only 18 years of age, on to the Kerry team. McGarrett goes for that. Andrews tried to get a hand to it. Darragh O'Shea seemed to pick it up off the ground. Well, we hear from the Kerry dugout that Darragh O'Canada had a hamstring injury, so that's why he's been taken off and replaced by this man, Declan Quill. Paul Curran trying to take it from him. Free to Dublin this time. Darren Holman. Vinnie Murphy, good hands, laying it down to Dessie Farrell. Sherlock wants it inside. Here comes Collie Moran. Moynihan had a real cut at him there. Moran, oh, come off the post again. Well, that happened to them last week. They almost scored a goal from it. Didn't Dessie Farrell miss when the ball came back to him? And Kerry was just a little bit panicked.
I think they'll come back tonight with a chainsaw and cut that goalpost down.
About 9 minutes left for play, plus any stoppage time the referee may decide to add on. He surely will add at least a couple of minutes. Vinnie Murphy from a tricky angle. Wide. That was a good situation for Dublin and a very tricky angle for Vinnie Murphy.
Yet again, like last week, the ball straight off the upright. These are chances really that should be taken, and they will count in the end of the day. Even the sideline kick by Vinnie Murphy, somebody should have come short. Everybody isn't like Maurice Fitzgerald who can kick a ball over the sideline, and you have to play percentages, especially in situations like this.
Darren Holman and Darragh O'Shea miss it. Here's Maurice Fitzgerald. Clever little ball, but intercepted, read well by Pater Andrews. Johnny McGee. Now Paul Curran. Not too much movement deep inside the Kerry half. They generated themselves. Here's Senan Connell. Ran out of space. Too many Kerry players there. Declan Quill. Johnny Crowley. Did he pick the ball up off the ground? Well, Coleman Goggins absolutely furious. A lot of the Dublin supporters down underneath us here thought he did pick it up, but the free has been given to Kerry.
Yes, he did touch the ball on the ground. Yes, definitely he touched the ball on the ground. It should have been a free to Dublin. It was the far side of the ref, and he wouldn't have seen it because there was two bodies in his way, but clearly from here you can see that.
Maurice Fitzgerald in towards Crowley. Goggins got a hand. Senan Connell. Kieran Whelan. Shane Ryan. Darren Holman. Holman involved in almost everything good from Dublin in the second half, and this is a good move. Vinnie Murphy, Desi Farrell and Collie Moran both inside the 20-metre line. Here's Holman. Jersey pulled, free into Dublin. Wayne McCarthy across, he wants to take it. This could bring them back to within a goal of Kerry. Well, Wayne McCarthy, remember, had a chance to win the game for Dublin in stoppage time last Saturday and it dropped short. He has the win behind him this week. Not a great kick, and the result, well, it's a wide for Dublin. That's an important moment for them. Got to convert those sort of opportunities if you're going to beat and dethrone the All-Ireland champions. Dublin about to make another switch, so the message is still coming from Tom Carr up in the stand down to John O'Leary and company. That's Niall O'Donoghue from Ballymon Kickabs who's about to come in, and the player who's going off is Colin Moran. Scored a point today, should have had a second one a few minutes ago. Just over 5 minutes to go. Kerry still leading, but well, with all the possession particularly they had in the first half, they should have had Dublin out of sight, and they're far from that at this stage. Noel Kennelly, Eamon Fitzmaurice, Darrow Shea. Kennelly, lots of blue shirts around. Kennelly goes for the gap, wins his free. Kieran Whelan will be spoken to by Pat McEnany. Whelan didn't get a yellow card, just had his number noted by the referee. Remember, Kerry down to 14 men. Tomás O'Shea sent off early in the second half, but Dublin haven't been able to get that close to Kerry, and Kerry still playing good football. Mike Frank Russell, well, is that going to curl in? Well, it looked, I'd like to see that one again. It's gone over for a point, but from where we are, it seemed to curl in back around the upright. In other words, it had gone wide first. Well, it's gone into the referee's notebook. The point counts, and Kerry pull away again. 5 points their advantage now. Here it is again. Always difficult. It certainly did curl in. Impossible to tell from that angle. But it's a point to Kerry, and they're motoring again. Darrow Shea, William Kirby, Declan Quill. Well, Paul Curran, the free man, is about 20 yards behind. You can see him there. The Kerry possession at the moment, and Kerry just trying to take the sting out of Dublin at the moment. That was towards Johnny Crowley. Shows so well for the ball. Doesn't touch it on the ground. Jason Sherlock back helping out. Sherlock shouldered off it, or pushed off it rather easily. Aidan McGarrald. Kerry, well, they've lost it. Here's Jason Sherlock. Paddy Christie. Sherlock once more. Now here's the free man, Paul Curran. Just 3 Dublin players inside the Kerry half at the moment. Niall O'Donoghue was looking for that. Mossy Lyons did so well to release the ball just before he went to the play. You can see Paddy O'Shea down encouraging his players. Declan Quill getting a big pat on the back. Paddy, like his team, very fired up at the moment.
Yes, they'll be quite happy with the scrappy nature of the last few minutes of the game. All they would do was want to slow it down, run the clock down, and keep those scores up. But it's very apparent anytime Kerry in trouble, all they have to do is look in the direction of John Crowley, and he'll win any sort of ball, on the ground or in the air, anywhere.
Declan Quill. Mike Frank just slipped at the vital moment. Davy Byrne there. Well, the time ticking away very much against Dublin at this stage. Johnny McGee. Here's Niall O'Donoghue, really his first touch since coming on a few minutes ago. Senan Connell is inside. Now Coleman Goggins in a very advanced position, running at Aidan McGarrett. They need some magic now. Goggins, oh! It's very scrappy, it's still there for Kerry. That's Michael McCarthy who managed to pick it up at the vital moment. And is that Dublin's chance gone?
I'm sure Declan O'Keefe will feel a lot happier with that now. That was a terrific save. Coleman Goggins is a terrific footballer, one of Dublin's best backs, and he'll be a terrific footballer when they can play him in half-back in next year maybe. But a good shot, a terrific save by Declan O'Keefe.
And who was closest to the Kerry goalkeeper as he spilled that? Seamus Moynihan didn't pick it up inside the square. It was Michael McCarthy who did that. Pat McEnany over to talk to his linesman, give him the instruction about time to be added on. We will have 3 minutes of stoppage time here in Thurles. So just over 4 and a bit minutes to play. Kerry still in a good position, but Dublin, well, as we saw last week, very difficult to put away. Aidan McGarrett. Here's Maurice Fitzgerald. Our Dublin heading for a 4th year under Tommy Carr without any silverware. The Leinster title has already slipped by them. Kerry so determined to hold on to the Sam Maguire. What a pickup by Maurice Fitzgerald. Declan Quill is inside. They can finish it here. Oh. Well, that was almost like Desi Dolan's effort against Meath. Crucially, though, it didn't go in. Have a look at this. What an amazing piece of skill from Maurice Fitzgerald.
He's just a natural. It's lovely to see him on the field doing things like that, because people come to games to see little bits of skills. For young people to try and emulate what their heroes do, and somebody like him, he's some hero to have.
Well, at times it's been quite scrappy. Frank Russell has had some wonderful moments for Kerry. Johnny McGee trying to deny him again. Our Dublin going to head home this evening. Disappointed. Kerry, well, their big motivation this year to retain the All-Ireland. Nobody managed to do it in the 90s. Cork, indeed, the last side to do it 11 years ago. The Hail Mary into Niall O'Donoghue. Are Dublin still here? Oh! 45. Kerry still giving Dublin opportunities.
Yes, and it's simple football. It's a direct ball into the full forward line. Kerry, with all their class and everything, you can do nothing about a direct ball into the full back line. Very hard to defend against.
Anxious moments for the Dublin supporters, equally tense for the Kerry fans. 2-12 to 1-10 they lead.
And he'll have to drop it into the square at this stage.
Darren Holman offering some advice. Wayne McCarthy, well, takes his point. Couldn't do it last week in stoppage time, but he's done it now. 1 minute and 20 odd seconds of stoppage time have been played, so around a minute and a half to go. 2-12 to 1-11. 4 points between the teams. Aidan McCarroll and Pater Andrews. Kerry need possession, they haven't got it. Darren Holman. Here's Kieran Whelan. Dublin showing that fighting spirit again. Senan Connell to Desi Farrell. Has to take it on his right foot. O'Keefe saves again. Farrell is still there. Here's Wayne McCarthy. McCarthy gets his point. Well, Dublin so determined to fight back. Wayne McCarthy, his first point, just inquiring with the referee about time to go. About 40 seconds left for Dublin to save this. Speaking of saves, what about this from Declan O'Keefe? Desi Farrell on his right boot. O'Keefe made himself very big. Good stop. And another fine stop by the Kerry goalkeeper. This is Niall O'Donoghue going through. And indeed, it didn't come off the goalkeeper. One of the defenders stopped that. Good defending from Kerry. 15 seconds of time left for play. The Kerry substitutes, the Kerry bench all on their feet at the moment. Can Dublin do this? Can they force extra time with another late goal? Pater Andrews, here's Wayne McCarthy. Now Desi Farrell here on Whelan looking for it through the centre. Oh, well taken by William Kirby. Kerry breathe again and it's all over. Kerry through to the All-Ireland football semi-final. Paddy O'Shea absolutely delighted, as is Noel Kennelly. Again, Kerry made it difficult for themselves, no doubt about it, Tony.
Yes, you've got to hand it to Dublin. They never gave up, but really Kerry have the class team. They have class forwards, and you're going to win championships with the class forwards, and especially the way Johnny Crowley is playing at the moment. All you have to do is get the ball near him and he'll get his score. He's playing terrific football, but again, Kerry held out. They're getting better, they're learning as they're going along, and they're going to be very, very hard to stop.
Well, a joy to watch both Johnny Crowley and Michael Francis Russell here at Semple Stadium today. The Dublin players leave absolutely dejected. Davy Byrne played his part, made a number of good stops, but he was beaten twice by the skill of Johnny Crowley. Maurice Fitzgerald played his part too. Came on a lot earlier than he did last week, and the Kerry supporters, well, they'll head back home delighted. They're still on course to retain their All-Ireland crown. Michael McCarthy had to go off injured last week. Very solid game. Dublin, though they've had quite an adventure in this year's championship. Great drama last week, but Kerry just too good for them in the end. Confirmation of the full-time situation. Kerry 2-12, Dublin 1-12. Now let's go down to the sideline and join Jim Carney, who's talking to the Kerry manager.
Paddy O'Shea, congratulations to you. 20 years ago, Dublin were hard to beat. They're still hard to beat. This was an amazing second half, and your team, if we could put it like this, apart from the glamour scores and everything else, defending, tackling, pressure, your team did that today.
We were absolutely delighted. I suppose, you know, in 1917, Kerry didn't take part in the All-Ireland Championship because the railroad service wasn't good enough at the time. And 100 years down the road, we only have 20,000 people in Thurles for such a great game of football. There's something wrong there somehow, you know. And the other thing I would like to say is, these analysts have been saying for a long, long time that Kerry are playing over robust football. They obviously put enough of pressure on referees to make decisions there today. And I mean, if that's the situation now that we have referees where they're not able to do and make decisions for themselves, there's a problem there as well.
Paddy, are you upset over your nephew? You're upset over your nephew Tomas being sent off there today?
That isn't the situation at all. I'm basically saying that referees should be strong enough to make their own decisions and not be told how to run and play and referee matches.
But Paddy, your counterpart Tommy Carr was outside the wire today. You know, in the heat of battle, things are said and everything else, but surely you've got to admit referees have a job to do, and a hard job in a game like this. You could feel the tension all around the ground today. It was electric. The viewers might not have felt it at home, but we felt it here, Paddy.
There was no problem with Kerry and Dublin players on the field of play or officialdom or anything like that. We go back a long, long time. We go back a long, long time, Kerry and Dublin. We have good rivalry, we have good scalps and all that. And I didn't see anything wrong with that today. However, we are absolutely delighted, Kerry, to have got through to Croke Park again, and we're looking forward now to our semi-final.
A brief word about your team, Paddy, because your team produced fantastic football in the second half today, where not so much the technical skills of the game maybe, but the heart that was inside the men.
Well, we wouldn't like to be unfair to Dublin as well. They put it up to Kerry, and possibly, you know, the very fact that we did get a player sent off, it possibly made Kerry more focused and played with more intensity. But certainly we were absolutely delighted, Jim. You know, we just have to look forward now to the semi-final, but we'll be able to watch our opposition tonight on television comfortably.
Paddy, thank you for talking.
Will enjoy tonight's match. Kerry now 10 games unbeaten. Their last defeat to Cork in the Munster final in July of '99. This game will help them an awful lot. Dublin, though, their championship adventure for 2001 is over. Kerry